So this lesson is designed for a startup who wants to start to put together the projects and the numbers so that they can see how their cash is going to flow. That being said, it's a good primer for just about anybody. So the word projects could be replaced with phases or campaigns. It's simply a way of thinking about a group of work or a particular time so that you can focus just on that and then concentrate on the numbers associated just with that. So if you're a startup, let's assume that you're going to spend the next 2 to 3 months just kind of bringing your idea together. So you're not going to be generating any revenue, therefore you won't have any cost of goods sold, but you're going to have a few expenses as you pull together what you need to get your company started. So let's give it a name and let's call it startup phase. Of course, you'd want to make someone responsible for this, and so I'll just select myself. We're going to start next month, October the 1st, and we're going to want to be ready by the end of the year so we can start off in January with a bit of a bang. Now, as I said, we don't have any revenues, we don't have any cost of goods sold, but we do have some things in general and administrative. Now, you can enter numbers a couple of different ways. There's the really easy way, which is just to put in one number. So let's say, I think it's going to be $2,000. And as soon as you do that, then as we'll show you right now, StratPad over in financial reports, it starts to build your financial projections instantly. But sometimes, oftentimes actually, you'll want to put in a bit more detail. So what you can do is you can click on, in the same field, you can click on the notes icon and you can start to put things together. So let's say that I know I've got to have legal and accounting. Okay, so just type in legal and accounting. And we know that that's going to be roughly $500 a month for the first 3 months. I'm going to be getting some stationery and other supplies. So I'm just going to call that supplies. And it's going to be roughly 250 bucks a month. I'm not quite sure, but it'll be cards and paper and that type of thing. Let's put that there. And then I also know that there's a couple pieces of equipment that I need to get. And so we'll just do this up front. I'm going to spend $850 on equipment. And that could be a laptop, let's say. Okay. And so that's under general and administrative, nothing under research and development, but under sales and marketing, I have to build a website. And so I know that it's going to cost me, let's say $600 a month. So website development, and that's going to cost me $600 a month. And I'm also going to need some website hosting. And that'll be, let's say, $25 a month. And done. Now let's see what happens. Let's go over to the financial reports. And I'm starting to see that my numbers are starting to change based on what I've entered into. Now, but I can't see the detail. And on these financial reports, the income statement, statement of cash flows, and balance sheet, we keep the numbers summarized. If you want to see the detail, then click on Worksheet. And what you see here is that under expenses, general and administrative is broken down by the numbers that you put in there. $500 a month for legal and accounting, $250 a month for cards and stationery and other supplies, and then an upfront equipment cost of $850. There's your website hosting and development. Now, the other thing I want to show you is that you can also, as you're looking at that, you can also come back in here and adjust. So let's say that the website hosting really wasn't $25, but was going to be $35. Simply make a change there, click on Done, back into Financial Reports, and it remembers the report that you were on, and there you can see the numbers are instantly updated. All right, let's go back to Write Your Plan. That's the first phase. Now let's create a new project, and it'll be the initial marketing phase. So I clicked on plus. I'm going to give it a new name. Person responsible, let's make it Peter Talk. I think he's out there. Let's choose Peter Talk. And this is going to start off in January of the new year because we wanted to be ready to start off the new year with a bang. And so there's January 1. And let's say that our initial marketing campaign will go for the first 3 months of the year until March 31st. Now again, I can put in numbers here in a couple of different ways. And I know that I've got revenue. I can just put in, well, I think I'm going to generate $1,000 a month in revenue, and it's going to go up by, let's say, 20% a month. And as soon as you do that, again, going back into your financial reports on your income statement, you'll see that there's $1,000 a month and it goes up by 20% a month. But I think it's better to think a little more deeply about the detail. What makes up that $1,000 a month or whatever the number is? So let's click on here and let's say that we've got two kind of fees that we're selling. The first thing is we've got some design hours. And I think in the first month that we'll just do 10 design hours and you're going to charge $95 a month. Sorry, $95 an hour. But you've also got some production hours. And once you finish the design, then you've got to build it. And so let's say the first month you're going to have 30 hours and you charge a little bit less for that. You charge $75 an hour. Great. We know that we've got a cost of goods sold here because you do the design work yourself, but you have a subcontractor that does the production. And so those 30 hours are going to cost you $45 an hour. Under general and administrative, the first thing you want to do is you want to hire a bookkeeper, believe me. And that bookkeeper is going to cost you $250 a month. You've also got some rent, $650 a month. And then under sales and marketing expenses, you've got some marketing. And you're going to budget yourself to $200, and maybe that's AdWords. And you've also still got your website hosting, which is down here. And that was $35 a month. And that's it. One more thing here, the cost of goods sold is going to go up at the same time that your revenue is going to go up. Okay, now we go into financial reports. Now we see the whole picture starting to come into play. So there's the first 3 months. Now we're into our initial marketing phase where growth is going to take place pretty quickly. And you can start to see whether you're profitable or not, and you are profitable starting in the first month as soon as you get out your door, which is great. You can go through the statement of cash flows and the balance sheet to see how things flow. And then the worksheet starts to show you the design hours, the quantity and the price, and the production hours. And this is the sheet that allows you to monitor your progress on a monthly basis to make sure that you're going to meet your projected revenues. You can see the bookkeeping, equipment, all these other things starting to show up. This looks great. So now let's do the last phase. We'll add a new project. We'll go up to the top here and we'll call this growth phase or phase 3 or whatever you want to call it. And let's make somebody else responsible for this. Let's make Kim Stambukas responsible for that. And that's going to be in 2015, starting in April the 1st. And let's drive that through to the end of the year. Okay, back into revenue. design hours, 17 design hours, $95. Production hours, 50 of those, $75. Cost of goods sold, production cost, 50 of those, 45. And we know we want those to go up somewhat, but it won't be quite as fast as 20% a month. It might be, let's say 10% a month, and see what that looks like, whether we can manage that. Under G&A, bookkeeping of 250. Rent, 650. And sales and marketing, we're going to continue to spend some AdWords. And we've still got some website hosting, $35. Click done. Now, there's a question I have for myself at this point, and that is, wonder if I can afford to pay myself, because you haven't shown any of that here. And this is, again, why StratPad is so useful. You can go into your statement of cash flows, and you can check down at this bottom line, and you can see how much cash you have available. And you can start to see that in June, so shortly after you finish your initial marketing, you're starting to become profitable. See how the cash starts to get higher, or gets less low in this case? So starting around here, you're profitable. And so you could actually start to take a little bit of money out for yourself. So why don't we do that? Let's go back in here. We're now in a growth phase. Go into G&A, and let's take a little bit of salary. So we can do it this way. Actually put in a regular amount, or we could go into cost of goods sold and only pay yourself a portion of any of the revenues that come in that makes sense. So if you're doing better, you're going to take out more, and if you're doing not as well, then you're going to take out less. So I'm showing this way because I want to show you about the staff column here. So we're going to take out $1,500 a month starting in April, and you're going to pay yourself, and that's going to be one staff, and then click done. Go back into the financial reports, and down on the worksheet, we've now got the full detail going forward for the entire 15 months, starting October 1st to the end of the year, and you can scroll forward and see it all. And then down at the bottom, there's all your expenses, and including the salary, which starts here. And then down at the bottom, it shows that you're going to be adding a staff member at that particular point in time, 7 months in. So here's the lesson. Think about the chunks of work, or the phases, or the campaigns that you're going to need to get your business up and running, and then break down those phases into 2, 3, or 6 month time frames, and then think through the various revenues and expenses that you'll need to complete each of those projects or phases or campaigns. Then think about how those projects or phases or campaigns will sit beside each other in terms of time frame, and then come into StratPad and start to put them all together, and you'll see all of your financial reports magically appear instantly as you put in the various numbers. And what you can also do is go back and forth playing what if games to fine-tune your financial projections so that they make sense to you. If they make sense to you, then they're going to make sense to a potential lender or investor.